So it looks like the Dallas Cowboys are considering moving on from Micah Parsons. It is reported that they have had internal talks of potentially trading him for this upcoming offseason. He is set to enter the final year of his rookie deal, so he's looking for a massive payday. He's set to make 24 mil in his final year of his rookie deal, and right now, Nick Bosa has the highest average of a pass rusher with 34 mil. I would imagine that Micah Parsons would probably surpass that. I think he'd probably get 40 mil around that range per year. The Cowboys already have two monster contracts in their books, with CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott being the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. So I can't really say I blame Jerry Jones and the Cowboys for wanting to move on from Micah Parsons, because when you have three players that basically take up more than a quarter of your salary cap, not really the best business move in my opinion. And Micah Parsons is definitely a good pass rusher, definitely a great defensive piece, but throughout his career in big games, I have seen him go invisible. I would rather have Myles Garrett than Micah Parsons right now, but that's just me. But you let me know if you think the Cowboys should move on from Micah Parsons, or should they just pony up and pay him 40 mil a year. Micah also had a quote about Myles Garrett saying that if the Cowboys could acquire Myles, that he would be okay with taking a pay cut. Now, I don't think Jerry Jones is going to do that, because then he would have to pay Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons, and I just don't know if he has that sort of capital to do that right now, honestly. Now, if they do end up trading him, I would imagine his market would be pretty large. The premium pass rusher is definitely a team need for every single team in the NFL. And you would think the Cowboys would want to send him to an AFC team rather than an NFC team. So teams to kind of watch out for, one being the New England Patriots. They have the most salary cap in the NFL for this 2025 season. So they definitely have all the money in the world to pay Micah Parsons a big contract. And I just like that fit a lot. You know, when you're going through a massive rebuild, to have your potential franchise quarterback and to have an elite pass rusher as your two faces of the franchise, not a bad move. So I definitely like that move for the Patriots. Maybe the Buffalo Bills. We'll see how Brandon Beane does this offseason. He did have a quote saying how premium pass rushers don't come around too often. So if he's not in the Myles Garrett sweepstakes, I would think he would be in the Micah Parsons sweepstakes. So if you're a Bills fan, definitely be crossing your fingers for that one. And man, if they're hypothetically both available, like, you have to think, like, Buffalo, make a move. Make a move. We saw what happened to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. You're close. You have to add a few more star players. And I really feel like this team could maybe just beat Mahomes and maybe get a playoff berth. So you have to think that they're going to be aggressive in the next couple of off seasons, and to add Micah Parsons or Myles Garrett, that would be a great move for the Buffalo Bills. Another team, Baltimore Ravens. I feel like they're always in the market for good defensive players, and I just feel like Micah Parsons would obviously fit in very well with that defense. Maybe it would take them over the top. Kind of a similar situation as the Bills, where they're right there close with Kansas City. If they could add a few more star players, just two or three more, they could potentially beat the Chiefs next year and make the Super Bowl. And who knows what will happen in the Super Bowl. So Micah Parsons to Baltimore, I think that would work out a lot too. And you can never count out the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, similar to Baltimore, they're always in the market for defensive players. That's their identity. That's what their franchise is all about. So to have Micah Parsons and TJ Watt, not a bad move going forward, even if the quarterback position is kind of a glaring question mark. I don't really hate that either. I could also see the Houston Texans getting aggressive too. They were really aggressive this past offseason because CJ Stroud is still on his rookie deal. They could do the same here with Micah Parsons. And again, like Houston Texans, playoff team, played the Chiefs pretty well. If they could add 2 or 3 more players and CJ Stroud continues to grow and be consistent, you never know. Like maybe they could make a championship appearance. Maybe just make their first ever Super Bowl appearance if they have a great season, have a great offseason. So out of all those teams, you let me know which one you like the most, what fit do you like the most, and where would you prefer to see Micah Parsons go. Also, one last team, the Las Vegas Raiders, to pair Micah Parsons with Max Crosby. I really think that would be setting a really good foundation for years to come for that Raiders franchise. Again, like we saw the Super Bowl, man. If you could win the trenches, if you could have a good defense, anything is possible. And to have Max Crosby and Micah Parsons coming after Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix twice a year, it definitely gives the Raiders a shot every single Sunday if they would have those 2 pass rushers. Out of all those teams, I think I want to see the Bills get a pass rusher, whether it's Miles or Micah Parsons. I just think it's a lot more logical if Micah goes to the Bills instead of Miles, just because NFC to an AFC team rather than Miles staying in the AFC conference. It just makes more sense to me, and I feel like it's a little more realistic. Plus, I think the price tag on Micah will be a little bit cheaper than Miles. Maybe not much cheaper. You would think Jerry and company would be asking for at least 1 first and maybe a 3. Something like that, I would imagine. But for Myles Garrett, man, if I were the Browns right now, I'd be asking for 2 1s at least and maybe a starter player back, or 2 1s and a second, or maybe just straight up 3 1s if it's like a championship caliber team. But you let me know what you think Micah Parsons will go for. Curious to hear your opinion. And yeah, man, do you think this will actually happen, or do you think the Cowboys will pay him? Let me know. If you made this far, please subscribe and like the video to help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
Second quarter is underway with this snap.
Well, your teammates are really going to respect you after something like this. Anytime you're on that field as an athlete, and when you give all your effort to every single play like that time, how about that? Just giving every bit of effort he can to make the catch. Not able to get it, but what a job of it.
Breaks out of that one.
The Jets put themselves in a terrible situation. 3rd and long, but you know what? They got a lot of talent on the offensive side, and that was an awesome job of picking up that first down.
Hightower's there to make the tackle. After the 2-yard carry, it sets up 2nd down and 8. 2 tight ends on the field here. Amaro with the